Let's take a closer look at what really happens when the dust settles in the corner office. You've seen it before. The company hits a crisis, whether it's a scandal, market crash, or catastrophic failure. The public apology comes, the CFO is sacrificed, and layoffs follow. But there's something that happens next, something no one talks about. And it's about to reveal the most powerful secret behind corporate survival. Keep watching. This could change everything you think you know about leadership. Surprise promotions. The guy from the sidelines suddenly running a major division. The safe, uncontroversial manager getting the nod over the brilliant but difficult star. This isn't about rewarding heroes. Let's be clear. It's about control. A crisis isn't just a test, it's the ultimate shock to the system. The old power structures snap. Alliances that once felt unbreakable crumble. Survival isn't about fairness, it's about rebuilding the chain of command, and fast. But what happens when the very people who are supposed to lead the recovery are the ones who cause the chaos? The answer might surprise you. So promotions after a crisis aren't a reward. They're a system reset. Think of it as emergency surgery. The patient is on the table, the old diseased tissue, the failed strategies, the compromised executives is getting cut out. But you don't just stitch up a hole, you graft in new tissue. That's what these promotions are. They're grafts, carefully selected pieces of the organization being moved to plug the leaks, and more importantly, to ensure the brain still controls the body. So how do you know if you're in the middle of one of these resets? Look for the signs. Sign 1. Competence is redefined in an instant. That impeccable track record you spent years building, suddenly it doesn't matter. What counts now is how you reacted when the clock was ticking and the pressure was on. Did you step up in the 72-hour panic? That's what the system's measuring. But who gets to define real competence in a crisis? The system isn't judging you on your past. It's judging you on your last act. Did you protect the core? Did you take a bullet for the team? Did you show absolute, unquestioning loyalty to the new emergency protocol? That's the new currency. Sign 2. The org chart becomes a battlefield map. Budgets aren't allocated, they're deployed like troops. Headcount isn't planned, it's seized like territory. The promotion isn't given to the most deserving person. It's given to the person who needs to be in that trench to hold the line. It's a resource allocation exercise under martial law. Sign 3. Your old alliances might become your biggest liabilities. That VP lunch group you relied on? In a crisis, it's no longer networking. It's a potential conspiracy. The system doesn't trust anyone, especially not those with too many connections. It needs people who are isolated, dependent, and above all, controllable. Is that you? Now here's the cold hard math the system is running in the background. It's not emotional. It's an algorithm with 3 primary directives. Directive 1, repair the chain of command, no matter the cost. When Lehman Brothers fell, they didn't promote the next in line. They brought in outsiders, people who had no connection to the old toxic culture. Why? Because the old chain was broken. The signal couldn't get through. A promotion in this context is about installing a new clean router that will transmit the core directive, which is always stabilize at all costs, without static or resistance. Directive 2, find a logical endpoint for the blame. A crisis needs a story, and the story needs an ending. You can't have ambiguity. So the system performs a liquidation. It designates the sacrificial lambs, the ones who are responsible. But that's only half the story. The other half is promoting the new guard. This creates the narrative. The bad apples are gone. The new pure leadership is here. The problem is solved. It's theatrical, but it works. The promoted person isn't just getting a job, they're becoming the living symbol that the crisis is over. Directive 3, build the next war machine today. The post-crisis world is different. Maybe growth is out and security is in. Maybe innovation is paused and cash flow is king. The system knows this, so it promotes the people whose skills and temperament match the next battle, not the last one. If the future is about regulatory survival, the chief legal officer's star rises. If it's about financial austerity, the CFO gets more power. They're being promoted not for past glory, but for projected future utility. Here's the brutal irony for the individual star performer. Your brilliant crisis heroics might actually sink your long-term prospects. Did you become the lone wolf who fixed everything by breaking all the rules? The system sees a rogue agent, useful in the moment, but a liability once peace returns. You'll be thanked, paid, and then quietly sidelined into a special projects role, a gilded cage where you can't break anything important. Did you learn all the organization's dirty secrets while putting out the fire? You're now a walking security risk. You might get promoted to a high-level advisory role, lots of access, no direct reports. You're kept close enough to monitor, far enough from real power. Did you rally a team around you to fight the crisis? Congratulations, you now lead a potential faction. The system hates factions more than failure. Your reward might be to get shipped off to run the new strategic initiative in a remote office, a promotion in title, an exile in practice. So what's the end game? The system has a playbook for people like you. Path A, you become the permanent firefighter. You get a fancy title like Head of Special Operations. You're the one they call for every future mess. You'll never run the day-to-day business, but you'll always have a job putting out fires you didn't start. Path B, you get the symbolic throne, a bigger office, a senior executive vice president title, a seat on a meaningless committee. All the trappings of power with none of the levers. You've been promoted out of the game. Path C, you get the frontier. You're sent to lead the new division in a new market. It sounds like an empire, but it's a desert. You're far from headquarters, far from resources, far from real influence. You've been given a kingdom of sand. The ancient insight here is brutally simple. Crisis is the only tool powerful enough to break a rigid system. It's the shock that allows management to do the personnel surgery they've wanted to do for years. The promotions that follow aren't about merit. They're about installing the new operating system. So, what should you do with this knowledge? First, forget about counting your crisis-era accolades. The rules of the game have changed. Second, watch where the resources flow, not just who gets the titles. That's where the system is placing its bets now. But there's one last thing you need to understand, and it might just be the most important insight yet. Keep watching to find out. Third, be wary of any promotion that feels like it's solving the company's narrative problem more than advancing your career. We're not here to judge if this is right or wrong. We're here to read the blueprint. Understanding this shifts you from a player confused by the rules to an observer who can see the board. It moves the question from why did they get promoted to what control problem is this promotion solving for the system? But this leads to the final chilling question. If promotion is such a powerful tool for control and signaling, then what is every single promotion, crisis or not, really designed to do? What if the person who gets promoted is never just a person, but a message? A living, breathing instruction manual sent to the entire company about how to behave, what to value, and who to obey. This is the real machinery of power, and it's a topic for next time.